you know that too, Jimmy?
Well, how many
Yeah,
times?
you told me 20 times.
How many times did you tell him? And the tale of the Yanks is mad.
So poor Jimmy heard the story before.
Well, every time we come down, we're gonna have a half a load on. He heard the same story, didn't you, Jimmy?
Well, oh, but the climax of the story was what ruined everything, you know. When at the end, when we were ready to go home with a goddamn big bucket, top bucket full of potatoes, I said, "Do you love me?" Well, she said, "I do," but she said, "I like Charlie, the one that told them the day before. I like Charlie Connor better than you." When you talk about the stocks dropping in Wall Street, you haven't heard of the stocks dropping in Wall Street.
Yeah.
Well, you never seen stocks dropping like them in all your goddamn life. my stocks dropped to zero in 1 minute.
Yeah.
Oh, I said, "Yeah, come on,
I'm afraid so.
let's go home with the goddamn potatoes."
And you just have the full bucket when you go
Oh,
home.
yeah, we had.
And you just lose that in the man
No. Well, that's the reason I wasn't married to the millionaire's daughter.
Mm. That's what you talk about every night in the room
Once in a while I do.
when you're talking to yourself.
I told Nanny that story.
Yeah.
Well, she said, you were terrible. Well, I said, "You told me you had John Paddy made you kiss a blessed candle the night before you came to America."
Yeah.
I said, what are you going to do about that? How are we going to forget all these things?
What do you mean? What do kiss a blessed candle? What's that?
Oh, and
They were swearing on that you come back to him.
The mother of my children, my loving wife, she told me, when we met out here in America, we were only a couple of fields away in Ireland, but you'd never see each other because you went to
Oh, more than a couple of feet. You were miles away.
in school. But
Yeah.
she told me how this guy, this guy was courting her, and he made her kiss a blessed candle in Castletown Chapel, but she'd never have anybody but him.
Yeah. But she broke her vows.
Well, I said,
Did she break her vows?
well, I had to break a couple myself. Well, I said, "What are we going to do now? We're even now."
Is what even is right. But anyway, who cares?
That's not what I'm not sure, not so.
I had two boyfriends, the grandpa Lord of Mercy on him and another fellow, Tom Wright, that never worked. He never done a day's work in his life.
But he was a good-looking guy.
Wasn't as good looking as Mac was.
Well, no, he wasn't that much worse looking.
Well, he wasn't that good looking either.
Oh, you got it honest now.
But he was a big tall fella, you know. And
You liked him.
What was his name?
Tom Wright.
Yeah.
W-R-I-G-H-T.
And I used to like him, you know, he was so much taller than me, looking down into my face, you know. I have to bend down when he go to make love to me.
Tom Wright from Gary Rock.
Yeah, but he wasn't the loving kind either, you know.
You'd rather be drunk than
So,
What kind was he?
well, they used to come to the dances, and when I'd be going home, one of them would be walking, Daddy'd be walking one side and he'd be walking the other. Until we get to the house where I lived.
And then?
And then the two would have to go without any, the two would go home together, palsy-walsy.
Without any courtesy.
Yeah, the two of them lived in Harrison.
Oh, they were friends?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I remember one night
I bet the two of them used to wind up and have a few nights drink.
One night he was up where I lived, and there was a back porch, and then there was the back porch was a window going into the kitchen from the back porch, you know.
Yeah. Where was this now?
Up in the Forest Hill where I lived in Young's.
And Forest Hill Parkway?
No, on Lake Street in North Newark.
Oh.
And
Them Youngs was the owner of the
Mike
public
McGrath
service.
was up to see Gaiety, this girl that lived there with me. And he was from Harrison too, and Tom Wright was up at him. And anyway, we were sitting on the windowsill, like with our back to the window.
Yeah.
And then we break the window came down in a crash.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Mm.
How did I explain that one?
Well, that was a story.
So, well, I guess I'd heard it, but they didn't pay no attention, you know. So that a man come the next day and put it in. So, that's the way I captured my man, but I didn't capture that fella.
So how did
I could have captured him very easily.
And you could have made him, and you know, if you had been the right kind, you could have made a man or a Tom.
Well, I wasn't really enthralled about him. If I had to be one, if I was daft about him,
And he was a
I
nice
could very,
fellow,
very
Tom.
easily have got him,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know.
well, how did you?
I got him on the trolley car by Mr. Young. Mr. Young, I asked Mr. Young if he'd get him on. This fellow that I knew.
Oh, really?
Yep, and he did. But of course he didn't last too long.
No, he never lost anywhere.
I was too fond of the booze.
Mm.
And I really didn't know it at the time. He'd never really be drunk when he came up to see
Oh,
me.
no.
But I didn't know it at the time that he'd spend most of the night in the tavern not be able to get up for
I
work.
bet you many a time he went into some lonely room and cried to himself.
I wonder.
You bet your
Then I
life.
remember one time, Daddy and I was down in McGovern's. We went into McGovern's of a Sunday night, and away we were coming from a parade or something.
Mm.
I knew it was across the bar. There was a lapse of years.
Yeah.
I knew it was across the bar, only Tom right now. There was always such a crowd there you couldn't see nobody.
Oh, I know. You were lucky.
And the next thing I knew was that he was standing over me and he says, "Be God," he says, "I thought you were dead."
Kid.
Yeah, so that was a nice welcome he had from me, wasn't
Poor
it?
Tom.
Yeah.
He was a nice fellow.
So how did you meet Grandpa anyhow?
I don't, must have met him at a dance. All these guys from Harrison used to go to the dances.
Well, when did it become more or less serious between you and Grandpa?
Well, I don't know, I guess. He used to have another lassie.
He did.
Oh, yeah, but he gave it up for me.
I never knew about that.
Yeah. So I'm sure the other one could have cut my throat.
Well, I never had another lassie, only Nanny.
Yeah, but he used to have another lassie. She was from his place home. You know that Colin, that captain, that captain.
Teasy Colin.
Yeah, Teasy's sister. No, Teasy's sister.
Oh,
So anyway,
Well, what was her name?
Colin.
what the hell was this? Her name was.
I don't know
Was
what
it
her
Mary
name
Ellen?
was. Colin. She was from Tyrone.
Or Nellie or something. Nellie, I think was her name. Nellie Cullen.
What?
Cullen.
But there's nothing like true love. If you have true love for some lassie, you'd go through fire and war.
You would.
And barbed wire and everything. And you wouldn't care whether you got cut or anything.
Prodded with it or not.
Oh, God. It
Huh?
was a terror.
Yeah, it was. But,
Well, let me
oh, there were several other ones. And one time I met a grand fella that, oh, I thought he was so handsome.
Oh.
And then after I went
You had
out,
the fur coat on you with the thrown around at night.
after I went out with him a couple of times, I hated him.
Oh, Lord. Well, didn't you hate Anthony Carney when he
Well, Anthony never was a boyfriend of mine.
but when he came up one time and he took the kid glove off and rubbed off the shoe you hated.
Yeah, the polished shoes, you know.
And you know what? And that, it didn't take anything, any a minute to hate you if you didn't. Wait till I tell young Artie what happened to me in America, will you? You want me to tell?
Yeah, go ahead.
Artie,
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
Yes.
I'm
listening.
listening.
you know, the woman that's 37 years in her grave. Her and I was lovers, as Rosy knows. She was with us when we were married and for years.
Well, I think he wouldn't have got married if he were in love with her.
Yeah. But anyhow, when I came out here first, I was 19 and a half, and Rosetta was younger than me, but she was here ahead of me. Are you listening to me?
Yeah.
Artie?
Sure.
My sister was here ahead of me, and she was younger than me.
And what was
So she used to come down there where we were and work on the Valley Railroad, working like a dog. And she said, why don't you come up some night and visit me up in South Gardens? So I went up this night. I got some new clothes and stuff when I had a little money after I come out here. I went up there, and she was working for some famous people on Irving Avenue. And when I went up there, Rosy's sister Annie was there. There was like two Irish girls on the same street that knew each other. This is the first time I ever seen Annie, Lord of mercy on her soul. So her and I was sitting there all night talking, you know, where we were home, Virginia and Castle Ryan, and what schools we went to and everything. Are you listening to me?
He is.
Yeah. And I said, well, I have to be to work at 7 in the morning. So I said, have you any mind of going home now? She was only living with another famous lawyer down the same street. Oh, she said, that's all right. I said, I'll walk you home. Oh, no, she said, you won't walk me home.
Uh-huh.
Oh, I said, no. I thought I had it made, you know.
Yeah.
We were talking about the schools we went to and the moat. I used to tell her we could see the moat from our house, you know, on a nice bright morning, you know, and it was no this. So I thought, this is my girlfriend, you know. She was good, so good looking, you know, God rest her. So I said, come on now, if you're going home, you and I will walk home together, or you're not walking home with me.
Uh-huh.
I said, no. I don't know what Rosetta said to her there talking and bullshit. Well, then I said I might as well go. You go down Grove Road and out to South Orange Avenue. If you got them out of trolley car, you got home. Well, I got home somewhere, you know. I thought, well,
Put that milk in the fridge.
oh, boy, that's it. This one has no use for me. So anyhow, I didn't go back for a while. So I got on the trolley cars, and when I was after working 7 or 8 months in the freight yard, I got on the trolley cars, and I was going down on the Carney line one day down Broad Street. Who did I see only Nanny, and this Patrick was Patrick. He was this country born, but she was on a Thursday. She was visiting his mother. She was from your place home.
Yeah.
I forget what her name was, but he was supposed to be only walking her up to the bus, you know.
Yeah.
I hit that gong. I don't know that I saw, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I must have thrown the gong to the floor. That was that. But anyhow, there was a dancing Pat Farr. That was before Ronnie O'Brien, you know.
Yeah.
The old Pat Farr. I went to the dance, and wasn't she there with Billy Goodguy and all them people? And yeah, but when she'd be through, I couldn't dance. An elephant could dance better than me, but when she was through dancing with somebody, I went over and I sat talking to her, and I said, oh, I said, you're enjoying yourself, how are you doing? And she was through dancing with somebody. I went over and I sat talking to her, and I said, oh, I said, you're enjoying yourself, how are you doing? I said, can I leave you home? It'd be late at night, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know what she said, no or something like that. So I went out, and she put up Mike Cullen, the Bugler Cullen, to get on the trolley car with her. And he was going to get off 3 or 4 blocks or up near wherever, just to get rid of me.
Yeah.
So that was the second setback. No? That was a piece of darn, wasn't
Yeah.
it? Eh?
You're not kidding.
Anyhow, the goddamn conductor on this coming in from Jersey, his famous fast trolley car, you know. They were all getting on. But she made sure that my Curran and her got on, and the guy closed the door right in my face. Huh? I was left standing on Clement Avenue, what they called it, the Bowery that time. And I thought, Jesus Christ, there must be something wrong with me.
Yeah.
I went home and cried in my beer and all. So I thought I'd never go back. I never went back. So I got fired from the goddamn trolley car. And this is as true as God's above in heaven. So this Jimmy McCann on the machine, and we died with the flu in Montclair. Him and I used to work in Oak Island together, and he got on the Bloomfield trolley car. And he was there for quite a while, a few months, and he had a run. So he told me one day, I met him one day, and he said, why don't you try to get back, and if you do, come up to Montclair. I went up there, and goddamn guy, you know, no matter how many horses and wagons you hit or anything, they were different that in the public service was so good, you know. The guy said, oh, right, he said, you want to go to Montclair? So, and he said, if you come to Montclair, you're bored with me, I'll bring you to the same boarding house and all. So I got on the goddamn Bloomfield trolley car. And I don't know whether I was living down neck with Marianne or Bridgie or some of them still at that time. And you went on the Bloomfield trolley cars. I hadn't seen Nanny for glory to God, maybe a year. After she did these 2 or 3 or 4 things to me, you know. So anyhow, I had a beautiful Cornwall Newark run through 5 different towns that day, an early run. And that time you could turn switches at Broughton Market and go down and go around the Penn Station loop and come back. So when I came back up, the first stop after Broughton Market was like 1 block going up Broad Street. Who the hell do you think was waiting for the trolley car? Was standing there, only Nanny and Biddy Goodguy.
Yeah. How did they know you were on it?
It was a Thursday. I don't know. I thought, Jesus Christ. So of course they get on the back with the conductor, you know, driving the trolley car, the trolley car. So when we got through Newark, Bloomfield, Glenridge, Montclair, Verona, and Cornwall. So when we were getting up near the end of the ride in the morning, I was getting off, she come out of the seat and came up talking with me in front. I said, Nana, where do you go? No, we just thought we'd take a ride. So we did. I get out for the day Thursday. Oh yeah. So we had maybe 5 or 6 or 8 minutes layover in the Cornwall loop, you know. And she was out in the front talking to me, Lord, I never saw her. I said, well, it's Thursday. Where are you going tonight? Oh, no, we're going right home. She said, will you come over tonight? What time are you? Well, I said, I have to go into Newark once more. And I'll be back about 4:30 or something like that, and I'll go home if I get anything to eat in the boarding house. I'll get fed. And I said, if I have to walk on my hands and knees, that'll be over. So that was the last trouble I ever had in my life.
Oh boy, oh boy.
And you know what I had to do, Rose? I had to take a Valley Road trolley car that went to the station in Orange.
Yeah.
Then I had to wait there for a number 20 crosstown. And they wouldn't let the trolley car go into South Orange. The big shots wouldn't.
Yeah.
They'd only let them go to the edge of the line, like in the valley. And
Yeah.
I had to walk a mile to where she lived out.
Still tape, huh?
Then I asked the
Where were
guy.
you? I see you juked out anyway.
I asked the guy what time of the night.
Should have heard what happened down the corner last night.
What time of the lake
Did
was
you hear all the sirens, Graham?
Yeah. Where
Last
were
night?
they?
Thomas Moffitt's up on the roof of Frank's,
Yeah.
throwing stuff down. Everybody was down the corner and they were all drunk.
Yeah.
There's all like balls up there and stuff, and he's throwing them down on them.
Who's
Yeah.
that? Who's
And
that?
Glenn, Thomas Moffat, and then Glenn climbed up,
Yeah.
threw the ladders down. There's two. There was a ladder out in the front and a ladder in back.
Yeah.
And
On the
Thomas
roof?
pulled the ladder up so we can get on the roof. Threw them down onto the ground. They weighed a lot and they made a lot of
But
noise.
who on the ladder?
It's Furies.
Oh.
Oh, the ladders to the fire escapes.
Oh my God, the iron one?
Yeah.
Oh, good Lord.
Yeah, what happened?
Rosy came out
Yeah.
and they're going, call the cops, there's a sniper on the roof shooting at everybody. And about 6 cop
Well,
cars.
that's what was in the paper.
It was in the
He
paper.
likes
Yeah, but-
Six cop cars came up.
How come
Yeah.
you don't get in
And they
on
came
it?
out with the shotguns and you go up the stairs, you go around the back, you get on that roof over there. And Thomas Moffat, before he heard the sirens, he jumped from the top of the building and there's a little tiny roof above
Yeah,
the pizza
yeah.
place.
Yeah.
It's about a 20-foot jump. He jumped onto that roof
Was he
and
home?
jumped down
What?
onto
He
the
jumped
other.
all the way into the apartment building roofs?
No,
And he
on apartment buildings as you go in the driveway there, you know that little roof above the pizza
And he
place?
never gets hurt?
Yeah.
Onto there, and he jumped down onto the other. He hang jumped, I guess, and then he
Yeah,
hang jumped down
yeah.
onto the ground. And he goes, "Yeah, there's some guy up there shooting," like he was an innocent one to the cops.
And what happened? No one happened.
Nothing.
Oh,
The
yes,
cops were all laughing about it after it was all over.
Do you remember when I was reading to you about the paper
It
with
was in the paper?
the cops up at the city line with the
Oh, yeah.
car going up and the commandeered the car and they
Well,
said
they must have
they
been-
got it over the thing, you know, that they carry.
Well, there must be what?
That there was a shooting at the corner of Sanford and South Orange Avenue.
Yeah.
And they went into the apartment house over there.
Oh, God.
And of course there was nobody there. But this must be what it was down here. What time was that at?
well,
10:30.
these kids at this age, they love this stuff, Rose. You
They had the
know?
cops going.
Huh?
They had the cops going.
Yeah, but isn't that terrible now? The way the baby
Thomas
fools?
Moffat, the innocent one,
Yeah.
all straight-faced. He wanted for
Well,
beer.
how about the television? You have to put it on?
No.
Every
Wait a minute. Okay.
every boy should have zinc every day. Now this is zinc with glucomanide in it. And
Show the bottle to the camera.
here it is, 250 milligrams. And I make Jimmy take 2 of them every day, and I take 1. And they're essential to every young man and to young girls too, and as a matter of fact for older women. As a matter of fact for older men like Paddy that has his foot in the grave. One foot in the grave and the other out of it.
Shut up.
Now, here's vitamin E.
Is this
The
going to come out?
vitamin E,
Show the label. Show the label. We can't see the
vitamin E, the fruit of life, this is. And this is guaranteed to do away with wrinkles, even in older people. But you
Okay.
have to start taking them in time.
Are they expensive?
Well, not too expensive. Those sell for about $6 a 100.
Is it worth the money?
Yes, I think it's worth the money, and it's very good. But I'm trying to find something for arthritis, which I can't find. Well, we'll go on to the kelp. Kelp is very essential. This comes from
Show us the label.
this comes from the moss of the ocean, especially in Ireland. This is a great seller.
Moss.
Kelp.
Seaweed. It's like seaweed.
It's made from seaweed, that's
That's what
right.
it is.
You fill me
Kelp
in
is
on the
the
different
weed.
things. It's made from seaweed.
It's a different certain type.
And it's very, very good. And actually 2 a day does wonders for people. And that's
Well, Giovanni,
Go.
now I've been smoking this half and half all my life.
Show us the label.
There's the label, half and half. I think it's the most beautiful blend of aroma tobacco anybody could ever smoke. I'm 87 years old and I've been smoking it since I was 10.
Show us the label.
And I'd recommend it to anybody over any other brand in this United States of America today.
Would you recommend it to 10-year-olds?
No, I don't recommend 10-year-olds to start smoking. I didn't start smoking till I was 8. Well, I'm smoking since I was 8 years old in a foreign country where I was born. But when I landed in America, I never smoked anything else but half and half.
And what does it cost?
And it's still my favorite.
Is it very dear?
No, it only costs 40 cents a packet now. I used to buy it years ago for less than half, but I don't mind because I'm rotten with money now. How was that?
So, now, sorry.
what am I going to
What
start?
what were the names of your parents?
Oh,
Starting
well,
your name.
my parents' name was, my mother's maiden name was Bridget Heary.
And how many kids in her family?
And they had, she had 3 brothers and 1 sister.
And what were their names?
And
How did you spell your mother's last name?
S-M-I-D-H. No, Heary. My parents' name was, my mother's maiden name was Bridget Heary. Bridget Heary.
And how many kids in her family?
And they had, she had 3 brothers and 1 sister.
And what were their names?
And
How did you spell your mother's last name?
S-M-I-D-H. No, Heary. It's
No, that,
H-E-E-R-Y, Heary.
And what were her brothers and sisters' names?
And she had a brother, Pat, and a brother, Charles, who went to Australia and made a fortune in Australia, but when he went there first, he lived in the bush out in Australia, and so he had 10 children.
Mm-hmm.
He married a girl from Kilkenny out in Australia.
Yeah.
And they visited Ireland when I was about 10 years old. They visited Ireland from Australia. And they were, they had a home in their place that had a brick of solid gold that they'd found, that they'd mined. And they were going to keep it
you get poor.
in case any of them would get poor. And he had a hotel called the Burdekin Hotel. And his children, as they grew up, lived out in the bush watching the herds of cattle so they wouldn't be stolen by the thieves. And they were great horsemen.
Now this was one of your sister's brothers.
One of my uncle's children.
Oh,
Them was my uncle's
or your
children.
uncle's children.
Yeah.
So what were your mother's other brothers and sisters' names?
My other, Alice was her sister's name.
And what happened to her? Where did she end up?
And she ended up, and she was married a short way from where my mother was married.
And the other ones?
And
No, it's
the
not
other
really.
one, there was one of our brothers was killed out in Ohio by some Italian guy. He was shot at a bar.
Mm-hmm.
And
What was his name?
Pat.
Pat Fury.
Yeah. And Charles was the one who was in Australia, and Matt was the one in Dublin that had a tavern business.
And what was the name of the tavern?
The hell was the name of what was the name of the
I
tavern?
don't know.
Oh, I forget. The Healy's Bar and Grill.
And what street was it on in Dublin?
Parnell Street.
But Parnell by where?
Parnell near, what's that big street where the...
O'Connell?
O'Connell, yeah, near O'Connell Street. And when I was home in Ireland, the last time I was home, we rode past it, but it's in different hands now.
And what's it called now? Is it here?
I don't know. No, it's not Healy's. It's some other bar and grill. I don't know. I forget now where it was. But I wanted to go into it, but we didn't have time.
And did you have any other brothers and sisters?
No, that was the...
And how about your father? How many brothers and sisters did he have?
My father...
What was his name?
Smith, Philip Smith.
And how many brothers
Yes.
and sisters did he have?
And he had a brother living right near to us that had he had a cooper business,
And what's a Cooper business?
making churns and firkins for butter and
That's
tubs,
all.
What's
milk tubs.
And what's a firkin?
Firkin was a container for butter that hold about 200 pounds.
And what's it made of? What was it made of?
It's made out of wood.
And what kind of wood?
I don't know what kind of wood.
Was it oak?
But yes, I think it was oak. And then he had another brother in Granite Town.
With a famous cooper.
What was his
There was
name?
a famous, he had a big business there and used to deliver it all over the country,
Yeah.
all over Ireland.
What was his
His
name?
name was James Smith.
Mhm.
And as a matter of fact, the shop is still there, but it's vacant for quite a while. His son and his grandson operated in it after he died.
Uh-huh.
And then after that, when they started to send the milk to the creamery, the business went down. So they gave up,
Mhm.
but the shop is still there. And a lot of the utensils that he worked with, a lot of the machinery that he worked with,
He's still there.
if it was just hand machinery, but it was there.
I was right beside them there.
Yes.
Granite.
And let me see now, did he have another Tom Andy? Then he had another brother Andy who lived in Kildare, and he had a farm.
How about Tom, Uncle Tom?
Told about Uncle Tom. And Andy had a farm too. And he had 3 daughters and 3 sons. Some of them still living, a couple of the daughters are still living, a couple of the sons, whom I visited when I was back in Ireland the last trip back. When was that?
Why didn't you tell them you
In
were
73?
Some of them you weren't let in. You were only let go to the half door.
Yeah, well,
What, did he have any other brothers and sisters, your father?
no, that was it. And he had one sister that died when she was young.
And where did you live? Where did you grow up in Ireland?
I grew up in Castleran, on a farm. Castleran, Ballyjames, County Cavan. And I worked out in the field before I came to this country. I milked cows, I fed pigs, I fed chickens, turkeys, geese.
Did you go to school in Ireland?
I went to Castleran School.
And what age did you start school?
Started school when I was 2 years of age.
2.
Yeah.
How could you go to school?
Well, I started school when I was 2. I just wanted to get nearer the way. And
Even if you could walk, they sent you to school.
I stayed there, I guess, up until what they call here, the 7th grade.
What grade?
The 7th.
7th.
Yes, I wasn't learning very much when I was 2 years of age. I was only just playing with blackboards and things.
Yeah.
And I was the pet of the school.
Even if you could walk, they sent you to school.
I stayed there, I guess, up until what they call here, the 7th grade.
What grade?
The 7th.
7th.
Yes, I wasn't learning very much when I was 2 years of age. I was only just playing with blackboards and things.
Yeah.
And I was the pet of the school.
You were the
The
pet.
teacher always used to give me an apple.
Uh-huh. Did you ever give the teacher an apple?
And yes, we used to bring her things. And her husband was a kind of a drunk. He used to come to pick her up in the horse and car.
What was his name?
His name was John, Red John.
John what?
Red John
What was his last name?
Riley.
Riley.
Red John Riley.
Uh-huh.
So anyway, he used to come drunk and it was very embarrassing for her. But she was a very nice and a good teacher. Don't be smelling that further away. Don't be... Now I'm spoiling the thing with this.
Now, so, what did you do? Why did you stop school at age 7? What did you do then?
Why did I stop school? I came to America when I was 16.
Well, you in the 7th grade.
In the 7th grade. I came to America when, after a while, I didn't go when I stopped school.
Well, why
I
did you
came
stop
out here when I
school?
was 16.
Why did you stop school at 7th grade?
Well, that was the way everybody was doing. All the farmers that didn't go any further.
Uh-huh.
And I came to America. And here I am,
At what age were you when you came to America?
16.
And what was your first job? And who brought you over here? Where'd you get the money
My
to come over?
sisters. I had 3 sisters here.
Oh, tell us about how many brothers and sisters you have. What were their names?
And let me see now. There was 10 in our family.
Starting from the oldest, going down.
Andy, Mary Kate, Tess, Paddy, he should have been there before, Maggie Ann, Nanny, Philip,
Rosy
Rosie,
and Charles.
which I should have been
Rosie.
Rosalind, or Roisin rather.
Why should you have been Rasheen?
Roisin was my name in Ireland. That's the Celtic of
Rosy.
Rosie
And Katie
and Katie
and Charlie.
and Charlie.
Was he the youngest or was Katie the youngest?
Charlie's the youngest.
There was 10 children.
So there you are.
Now, you came, and who brought you over here now again?
I came over with 2 on the ship with 2 neighbour girls and a boy that was only 12 years of age. His brother was bringing him out here, and he was going to Brooklyn.
And where
And they were great friends of ours.
and where did you land when you came here?
I landed in New York and Ellis Island.
And how long did you stay at Ellis Island?
I didn't stay. I got off the boat and my sisters came out from the harbour in Ellis Island. They came out to Ellis Island in the boat to see if I had come.
Mm-hmm.
Some fellow there let them out that they were flirting with.
Yeah.
Gave them a pass to come out.
Uh-huh.
And then when we came in, they took me home and I stayed, I don't know where I stayed in one of the houses.
What city was it?
Newark.
You are.
Yeah.
And so what was your very first job?
My very first job.
Well, don't go into that for Christ's sake, will you?
My very first job, I didn't know what my first job. My first job was I was taking care of children
For who?
for some people. I forget their names now.
How long did you last?
Up in Orange.
How long did you last at that?
I don't know. I
And
guess
she
about,
didn't last long
about a year.
anyway.
Guess about a year. Then I got this job up in Forest Hill, which was the grandest job ever anybody had.
Uh-huh. And what did you
And
do?
there was a trained nurse there. There was 10 children in the house. And there was a trained nurse, and I used to have to take the older ones out, but the trained nurse took care of the younger ones.
She didn't last
guess
long
about a year.
anyway.
That's where he is. Then I got this job up in Forest Hill, which was the grandest job ever anybody had.
Uh-huh. And what did you
And
do?
there was a trained nurse there. There was 10 children in the house. And there was a trained nurse, and I used to have to take the older ones out, but the trained nurse took care of the younger ones.
And who did you work for?
Was he young?
Their names was Young.
Vice
What
President.
business were they in?
Vice President of the
Public
Public
Service.
Service.
And he was vice
Yes,
president.
He
and
was the second highest
Oh.
man in the public service.
So how'd you meet Grandpa?
I don't know, I forget.
And how old were you when you got married?
How old was I when I got married? She was only a child.
Yeah, about 22.
I wasn't 22. I don't know, I wasn't looking for age, I was looking for a man.
Oh, was that coming out there?
Okay. Yeah.
That's enough, I'm
All
tired.
right. Patty,
Well,
now, tell us, what was your mother's name?
Mary O'Reilly.
O'Reilly's.
Yeah.
And did she have any brothers and sisters?
Yeah, she had several brothers and sisters. She had a brother, Mike, John, Patrick, and James. So she had 4 brothers.
And no sisters?
Yeah, she had several sisters. She had sister Roxanne, Bridgie, and Mag.
And what was your father's name?
My father's name was Larry Butler.
And did he have any brothers and sisters?
Well, he had a lot of brothers and sisters, but they were in American. There was one brother I know was James, and another was Thomas.
And do you know the others' names?
And then he had no James and John. And he had a brother Thomas home, old Thomas Butler, the shoemaker. He had 3 brothers that I know of. And he had a sister Catherine. But all of his brothers, but Thomas, came to America and they settled in Boston, in a place called Lowell, Mass, where the shoes, they were shoemakers. So they settled in a place where the big shoemaker place was in Lowell, Mass, where they still make them today.
Oh, Lowell. Oh, Lowell.
Yeah, Lowell. It's a suburb of Boston. I have all my relatives are there yet if I could ever get there.
Oh, that's nice of you. And at what age did you go to school first?
Well, I guess to chase me out, like her, they chased me out of the school as soon as I was able to walk at maybe 3 or 4 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to a thatch school, an old thatch school called Rafney School in Rafney Lane. And
Now,
then while I was...
where did you grow up?
What?
What was the name of the place and the address where you grew up?
Huh?
Where did you grow up? What was
I grew up in the townland of Ena, parish of Mulla, County Cavan, Ireland.
And what was the name of the school again?
The school that I went to when I was a little baby boy was Rafney School. It was an old thatched house. And then we moved to a new Arlo school, this new slated school, when I was in the first and second grade.
And how long did you, when did you leave school?
I left school when I was in the 5th grade.
Why did you leave school?
Here's that making part of it,
Because
it
the
gets
master
sour
was
so
a
long out.
bastard.
Jimmy has it
He
before.
used to belt the hell out of us with the cane every day, and I went out working with farmers and I never went back to school. I was only a couple of months in the 5th grade.
What do you mean, what did he hit you with?
With a pointer, what we call a pointer. It killed me.
Why did he hit you?
Because we caught him courting a guy down in the plant and we stoned him. And he knew the ones to stone him. And we never had any use for us after that.
Now, when you say you found him courting, what do you mean? You found him doing what?
Well, I didn't find him, I wouldn't say that I saw him doing anything, but we knew he was courting Annie Hickey. And me and Charlie Connon and Tommy Lynch and Mickey Flanagan, we stoned them. And from that day on, every time we came into the school, he whaled the hell out of the whole 4 of us. We never, so then I wouldn't go back to school no more.
So, where did he hit you with the pointer when he hit you?
Right on top of the head and everywhere.
Did he ever give you any cuts?
Sure he did. He hurt us terribly.
And what did your parents think of that?
Well, they didn't think
They
anything.
deserved it.
They thought we deserved it because we were villains.
And were you villains?
Well, we were in our own way. We were walking dibbles at that time. I wish I had followed through and be a walking dibble all my life. So anyhow, instead of going to school, I used to work for farmers. 12 hours a day for 4 pennies a day. Gathering potatoes, lapping hay, you name it. Thompson trainers and Mrs. Farley. But I was couldn't the daughter of the house that I thought. It was only in my own mind. I was going to be another Willie Riley in his own dear Colleen Barn.
So, and then at what age did you come to this country?
Well, I worked 6 years with, I worked 3 full years with farmers in Ireland when I was a kid, hired. And then I went and worked 1 full year in the city of Glasgow on the Caledonian Railway.
In Scotland?
In Glasgow, Scotland. I worked harder than I did in Ireland. And my 2 sisters in America sent me my pass to America on the 16th of March, 1910.
And how old were you?
I was 19 and a half years old then. And I landed, I left on the 16th night of March from Glasgow, and I landed in Dublin on the St. Patrick's morning, the 17th of March, off the Glasgow-Dublin road. And it took me all day to find the station to go down to the Virginia Road, or Old Castle, when I got home.
So you worked there for a year?
Yeah, and I spent 2 weeks at home with my father and mother, and I planted all the potatoes in the 2 weeks while I was home before I left for America on April the 3rd, 1910.
And did you kiss any sacred candles before you left?
No, I didn't. I got on at the broad, went up to Dublin from my home, and I stopped at a cousin's house in Dublin and had some dinner. She left me at the train at the Broadstone station, and I went down all the way on that same train to Queenstown. I slept in some hotel in Queenstown that was on the mill. And the next morning we were taken out on the tender to the ship, the Baltic. The ship the name was the Baltic, on a Sunday morning, the 3rd of April. And we didn't land in New York Harbor till Sunday, the 10th.
Of what year is this?
1910. And we wouldn't be let off the ship that night because we came in late. We were on the ship all night in the harbor or wherever it was.
And where did you land?
We landed in New York Harbor.
And where? Ellis Island?
No, we were brought to Ellis Island the next morning on a Monday, the 11th of April.
And how long did you stay at Ellis Island?
We were only there when we were interrogated, or what would you call that word?
Interrogated?
Interrogated.
And how long did that last?
About an hour when you go through like customs there.
Well, what about all the immigrants that had to stay at Ellis Island for weeks and weeks?
Well, I don't know anything about them because I got out the same day. You were supposed to, if you had nobody to meet you, you were supposed to show £2. Are you registered in this?
Yes.
But I had no money at all. I got my money changed on the ship, but it cheated me. I only had, in American money, I only had less than $5, 50 cents. It cheated me. But I had a fellow with me that gave me the £2 that I showed that I got off the ship, that I got on through Ellis Island. My 2 sisters was there to meet me and they missed me, but I was home in Newark before them. They put me on a train on the Pennsylvania Railroad somewhere with a tag on me, and I was home. I was home in Newark ahead of the 2 sisters that went to look for me.
Well, what would you say was the most interesting thing about America when you got here?
Well, the most interesting thing about America when I got here, after living a year in the city of Glasgow, one of the cleanest, nicest cities in the world, I thought Newark was the dirtiest place I ever saw in all my goddamn life.
In 1910.
In 1910, all you'd see was cans and garbage and dirt and filth and everything down neck in the poor Irish sections of down neck Newark. Are you putting that down?
And I thought the Irish were grand fellas.
Not, well,
Not in them days.
well, not good. And then I got a job on the Lehigh Valley Railroad in the freight yard. 19.5 cents an hour for 10 hours. And we'd get overtime for 2 more hours sometimes at the same price.
$1.90 a day.
19.5 cents an hour.
And how many years, how many days a week did you work 10 hours?
You'd work 10 to 12 hours a day, the 6 days a week, and sometimes we'd have some Sunday work. If we had Sunday work, we made that much more money, but it was always the same 19.5 cents an hour. At the end of we'd be paid twice a month. Sometimes I came home with $37, which was terrific money at that time for 2 per week.
So,
Are you putting that down?
yep, that's all down.
And it only took me about 3 weeks to pay back my 2 sisters all the money, my past money from Ireland to here, including the trains from Dublin and everywhere, was only $36. It'd be $336 now. I had it paid back in 2 or 3 weeks' time.
So, all right, what about you, Rosie? Was there anything that was interesting, especially interesting for you about America?
You know,
I remember I had when I came out here first, my sisters got me a navy blue dress, a navy blue old dress with long sleeves and a turn back collar and a big white sweater.
How about the coat?
Big white sweater with a big collar on it and big white heavy sweater like what they wear skiing now.
Something like that.
And I thought it was a grand lass. They told me I had lovely arms. I shouldn't cover them.
Who told you that?
Tell them about the coat.
The ones in the store used to tell me I had beautiful arms.
Tell them about
What happened to them though?
Listen, Rosie, tell the story about the night you and, was it your sister went in the room with the guy?
With the what?
The night you supposed
You, Nellie Riley and you.
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm gonna
You can't put that on film.
Oh, sure, come on, tell the story.
I didn't know I could tell that right. After Patty, my sister and Patty got married, my girlfriend and I, her name was Nellie O'Reilly, and her and I used to visit them there all the time. Of course, there'd be boys around, you know, we'd be having a great time. So Nellie's sister was going to be married to a fella from Herbert Clark from Cape Cod.
He was a clown digger.
And he was from the blueberry bogs up in
Cranberry
the
bog.
cranberry bogs and blueberry bogs up in
Some part of Connecticut.
Cape Cod,
Yes.
Cape Cod.
way out. And he was a real country boy and very bashful. Anyway, he was going to marry Nellie's sister. And he was staying with my sister and Paddy at the time. So Nellie and I was there one night and we made it up that he used to have to go out to work early in the morning and he went to bed, you know, about 8 o'clock at night. And we made it up that we'd get into the bed with him, one of us each side of him. So we took our shoes off and took our dresses off, was in our slit. And we got into the bed one each side, got in under the clothes. And he made one jump out across the foot of the bed and down the back stairs.
Yeah. And he said to
And
me,
we scared him to death.
and he said to me and Nanny when he was going by that down pool sister of yours.
Of course, we thought it was a great joke.
And did he think it was funny?
And, well, I guess he didn't when he had to go out in the cold.
No.
So, you know, if there's another guy, he'd grab a hold of us and then we'd be done too. But he didn't, he'd have scared us,
He
but
was a country boy.
He was a real bashful guy, and I guess he was afraid of us. In case we'd rape him.
Oh, the poor fella.
So that's about it.
So what else do you have to say?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I don't have very much to say. Only that I'm sitting here now, I'm not able to go anywhere. And all I can do is dwell on the things that I used to do and what I didn't used to do.
I hope this isn't going
And I never denied myself anything. I always had a good
I hope
time.
this isn't
It's
going to go in print now.
the best way that I know how. And I have no regrets about living. I went here and I went there and I went every place.
Yeah.
So here I am. And I have my 4 sons left, and I think that the 4 wives are pretty nice to let them put up with me.
Now, what do you think of the 4 wives?
Well, I think they're lovely girls, really and truly. Let me see, Jean, who was my favourite because she came here when she was a young bride, and she was always used to do all my work and let me run out to the seashore and here and there and everywhere. So naturally I appreciated her.
Mm-hmm.
Then came Ro, who was always very
Your
great
mother, your dear mother.
and terrific to me. And then came Anita, who was always wonderful to me too. And then came Terry. Terry, the one that let nothing go at me. So that's the one that she'd tell me right back. And she was really great too. So, now there you are. Wasn't he a good mother-in-law to put up with them?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
So, that's about all I can tell.
What about your sons?
Well, my sons was all like, I really can't say nothing about them. They're all pretty good.
Beating them with the stick.
Yeah, Eddie was the best one. And then Eddie was the next.
What about when they stole?
Alfie was a whelp.
What about when?
And Booster was another, he was a raving maniac. He had a lot of good in him behind that.
What about the time they stole my father's bank and took the money out of it?
Oh, your father, Artie was really he was a studious kid. And he was very good. So, he had money up on the 3rd floor when they were sleeping up on the 3rd floor. He had money in a bank.
What kind of a bank was it in?
It was just a tin can with a hole in the top and it glued around, the lid glued around. So they, who was it that stole that money?
I don't know.
Some of them stole the money I
Alfie
got.
or Eddie, was it?
Booster?
No, wait a minute. It probably was, let me see now, who stole that money
I think it was my old man.
from him? No, I don't think it was.
Then Uncle Eddie.
No, I
I think
don't.
it was some of the younger ones that took it. It must have been Alfie and somebody else. Who else would do things like that? So anyway, they robbed his bank, and when he went there, he thought at Christmas he had some money and he had none in it. They put
Oh,
pebbles of stones in and so it would rattle.
oh,
So now there you are.
So, Patty, what do you have to say? You want to add anything?
no, I don't want to add. There's nothing I could add now that
Because we don't have too much time left.
I spent. Did I go as far as telling you about me and Annie
What about her now? What?
when we were married and stuff?
Well, no. When were you married? How old were you?
Oh. '24.
And how old was Amy?
She always said she was younger than me, and I always believed her. I was married on November the 15th,
You think she was older than you?
1914.
Yeah, we
See?
were married in a Radio Sorrows Church in South Orange, which was an old wooden church at that time on the other side of the road. Not any of the new buildings that's there now.
It's still there?
No, I don't know whether it's somebody's house.
No, it's
Mm.
new church built in the place.
And it was the rainiest Sunday that anybody ever knew. We had an old horse and carriage, took us up and back. And the wedding lasted 2 full weeks.
So, Peter, what do you want? You got anything to say?
Nope.
But we lived happily ever after.
Nothing?
Nope.
Nothing at all? No. So what else?
I think that's our whole history now.
Now, what do you think about the state of... Has the world gotten better or worse? Is the world better or worse
The
today?
world has got so much worse that it's not even funny.
Well, why is it worse?
Because everybody's mad here now.
Well, mad in what way?
There's no religion, there's no nothing anymore.
No religion.
No.
Was there religion in your days?
Oh yeah, I think they're all that. People was very good in my younger days.
They were good.
Yeah. I think they were.
You think they were better than they are? You think people have gotten worse? People themselves?
Well, they're falling away from their faith by the thousands now.
Do you think people themselves are any better or worse?
I don't know. I couldn't answer that question. I only had to answer for myself. I hope I don't have to face an angry God. Well, I ran out of here. Have you any for me? No.